Hey, good evening. It's Pastor Mary. I forgot to put a note up. So those of you who are regular, hopefully will look for me. I forgot to put a note up, so I'm going to do that while I'm sitting here because there's a good chance if you got on right away, you don't know I'm here. And if you were looking for me to put a note up, you don't know that I'm here. So, I bet it's my friend Cheryl. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to put up a thing right now. It's Paula. Good for you. Good for you, Paula. You are excellent. Let me see if I can put a note up real quick for everybody, just so people know, hey, Cheryl, I knew you'd be on here too. You're always so good. So hang on a second. I'm trying to put a note up just in case people aren't looking. No, that's not one. I'm just putting up Mary. Hang on. You two are devoted. Oh, and Phyllis. Hey, thanks for joining. I'm putting up is on live now on St. John Facebook page. Sorry, it's just been a really nutty kind of day. And then I'm putting join us. So let's see what's happened today. Well, so the roof has been being redone at church, and it's close to completion, but they were there working today, cleaning up a lot of the stuff. And Zaxby's, I don't know if they're in the Midwest now. I think Tim said there's one in Kansas City. I don't know if there's any in Illinois, but Zaxby's is building right next to the church, and there's been all kinds of lines hit and things turned off. So today, they hit the AT&T line. Now, I was not doing internet today, and I was not on the phone today because I was running around because I thought the Cub Scouts were starting in the church tonight, so I was getting all the classrooms ready for them. And it wasn't until I was almost finished that I found out they weren't meeting tonight, but they'll meet next week. But that's okay. I got things in pretty good shape, but I had to move a lot of stuff. There was 3 rooms that I had to get ready. And so I was doing stuff like that, and then I was writing a note to put on their doors just to welcome them, but also to say, please note that, while you're here, you have to wear your mask while you're indoors. That's in order to be inside. So getting all that put things away that had been sitting in classrooms and stuff like that. Hey, Kathy Gates came and visited me today. We had a lovely visit. It was so great to see you. I hope you all are doing well from your booster. Hope you're not having any problems. And then while Kathy was there, got a phone call. So those of you who see this later will know this, and I'll say this at the end if anybody else joins. But Butch Armistead from the church has gone to the hospital. He's actually doing well. He's on a better type of oxygen, and that's all he's on, but he's there because he has COVID. So then I got a note that one of our dear high school friends, we were all classmates together, Danita Harpole, she died early this morning, shortly after midnight. She died, and my class, our class, Cheryl's on here, we had like 35, 36 in our class, and I'd say probably a little more than half our class was girls, women. And so now a number of us are Messenger. We're in a group on Messenger. And so, and also Denise's brother Jeff was a very close friend of me and my brother Tim. We were all in choir together with Cheryl. We were all choir kids, loved choir in high school, with Mr. Kesterson, our favorite. And Danita was in choir, and just a lovely, lovely person. And as I said in my note to my friends and classmates today, that I would remember her with her big smile. She was such a lovely, lovely, sweet, kind person. And I'm glad that she has 2 daughters and a son and grandchildren, a wonderful, wonderful husband, Edwin. They were high school sweethearts. They were just so cute when we were in high school. Anyway, her daughter was not supposed to get married for another week, but they moved the wedding up They had it several weekends ago, so Danita could be there. So I'm very thankful that they all had that memory together of Danita being there. And my heart goes out to their whole family. Their family is like my family in that Danita and I were in high school, same class, and we're the oldest, and we have had 3 younger brothers. My brothers are Tim, Tom, Ted. Well, 2 of her brothers have already died, Jimmy and John, and her brother Jeff, and see, they're all J's, and my brothers are all T's, and she's Danita, I'm Mary, so we didn't get the J thing, J or T thing, which is, I never thought about that before, but anyway, her mom and dad are still with us, and they're just lovely, lovely people, and so my heart really, really goes out to them. David also had a member who, Karen Schroeder, who, lovely, lovely lady. I had the privilege of working with her on Vacation Bible School for a number of years at Epiphany Lutheran, and she was just a great lady. Her husband Bill was a missionary. They lived in Papua New Guinea. Anyway, she also died today shortly after 12 noon, and then David had another member whose grandmother died today. So it's been just an unusual day. Usually we don't know 3 different people who die. Well, especially knowing the 2 really well. Just tough, So, and then I also got word for those who see this from St. John. I did not know this lady, but I was told today that Cheryl Browning, who had been part of the church in the earlier days, that I just got word that she died on August 31st. And I don't know anything more than that. So, but I wanted to share that with you all. Also, what else? Oh, Andy Harnack, and again, I may share this at the end. Hey, Jeannie, good evening. I don't know if you heard me say, I was just talking about Danita Candy Harpole, and so sad about her dying this morning, but she was wonderful, wonderful classmate, and wonderful person, just so lovely, always lovely. So it's heartbreaking for Edwin and all their family to lose her today. So, yes, she was, and I know she was a wonderful teacher. When we had our class reunion 3 years ago in the summer, she shared with me, and I think others, that she and all the, I don't live there, but it was great to be there and to talk with her. And she shared that she had to retire 6 months early from getting her full benefits, and really wanted to finish, but that her MS was such that she could not do that. So my heart really goes out to her whole family, and I wish so badly I could be there. I don't know what they'll do right now and I don't know. I think Illinois has much better numbers than we do. We're still pretty bad here. In fact, I just heard of some other former members who just heard today have had COVID, and I'm not sure if they still have it, but I was told that Cheryl and Lyle have had COVID recently, and I'm not, again, Lyle apparently had it worse is what I was told, and I don't know if they're in recovery or not, but I was just told that by somebody today, because sometimes I find out right away, and sometimes I'm the last person to know, but that's okay. So I did want to mention those of you who watch, if you can't get it from another church, or if your church doesn't have a devotional, I think most of yours do, but we have, these are free. It's called Christ in Our Home. It's a daily devotional. I'm glad to send out, if somebody would like one. I'm actually mailing one to a lady who I know from a former church who doesn't have a church right now, but loves Christ in Our Home and has given, you don't have to give a donation. She had given a donation. So, and we have large print. I think we have 1 or 2 left, and we have small print. And I'm going to drop one off to somebody in the church who they're not getting out right now and ask for it. But anyway, that starts in October, although it looks like Christmas, doesn't it? Hey, April, good evening. So, April, I can't remember if I brought you one. I'm hoping to get by to see you. If not tomorrow, I hope to get by to see you on Thursday. So, Just know that. But don't stay home for me because it won't be in the morning. It'll be in the afternoon when I make it by. And I will try to call you before I come, okay? Just so you know that. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else to share right now. But Butch, his wife Allie is glad that he's doing well on the oxygen he has there, but just keep praying for him to get better. We really pray for that. And for those getting boosters, that they do well getting the booster. I know Kathy, and we have others that have gotten the booster, and other people who will be getting the booster. And so I just want to encourage people about that. Okay, so and then I got home and then was working on some stuff. I just have to share this. Oh my gosh, I got to show this picture. This is David when he was a little boy, my honey. Wasn't he adorable? Oh, he was so cute. Paul Parrot shoes. So cute. My goodness. Just adorable. Anyway, I got home. I had to stop for tea. I do not drink caffeine, but I can get herbal green tea at Quick Trip here, and I usually have one a week, half sweet, half unsweet. And I've just really had a hankering for it on the way home, because I didn't stop and get it on Sunday. So I stopped and got it today, and it was really good. I really loved it. So, but I was working on some stuff, and I have some other things to work on for church after we're done tonight. But anyway, so I was sitting here and I was looking at a few things, and I was like, oh, I thought I brought home the end of the Christ in Our Home for this month, but I don't see it. I can't find it. So I decided, well, I'll just pull a book. So this is called Take 5. I think I may or may not have used it before. 100 Meditations to De-Stress Your Day. And it has spiritual suggestion, spiritual thought, and biblical story. So I was just kind of looking through this. But anyway, I think I will use this one. Let's see. So this one is called Generous Hearts. As part of his training, the young man studying in the United States to become a priest spent 3 weeks working in a poor section of Brazil. He expected to share his abundance with the impoverished people there. Instead, he found himself enriched by their generosity. A family invited the student and his colleagues for lunch. They had prepared a huge feast, including cans of soda pop, but would not eat until their guests had finished. Later, the young man learned that this family could not afford soft drinks for themselves. A 9-year-old girl, cute as a button, spent several days with these students. She always wore the same clothes, together with a necklace sporting a paper-thin cross on it. When he was leaving to return home, she took the necklace off and gave it to him as a reminder of his short time with her people. The young man is likely to become a more generous priest because of their generous hearts. The spiritual suggestion: the generous hearts of people who are poor can touch the hearts of those who have abundance. And the spiritual thought is, do not worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be given you besides. Well, that really touches me, and it's reminding me of when, and I probably have shared this, but unless you're on all the time with me, and it's been a little while, you may not have heard me share this story, personal story. So when I was 25, I lived in Kansas City, single, not dating, very active. I had joined the Lutheran church the year before. I was very, very active. I joined a very large Lutheran church, not because of the size, but my roommate, who had grown up Lutheran, had said that her pastor had suggested we go to this church because the senior pastor there and her pastor had studied in Tübingen, Germany. At that time, 25 years before, they had studied together to get their doctorates of theology. It's like a PhD, but it's a THD, Doctorate of Theology. And so I grew up in a large Catholic church, lots and hundreds of people at Mass, thousands of families in the church. So I was used to a large church, so that was not a big deal to me. But I chose this church because, one, I loved the pastors and their preaching. Two, the church was very warm and welcoming. And three, and one of the most important things to me that made me choose this large, wealthy congregation, I did not choose it for that, but they gave away 25% of their budget yearly to social ministries and causes that were dear to the congregation's heart. And that moved me because I've always been involved in social ministry and working with and for others and empowering other people. And so anyway, when I was 25, they had a second career pastor named Sally Fahrenhold, who became my mentor and my friend. And she really encouraged me. And she was so well known in Kansas City that at the time, the mayor had a task force on starvation and hunger in Africa. So she was asked to go with a group to learn more and to see how Kansas City, I found that really interesting, but for Kansas City to make a connection, I don't know where in Africa they were going. Anyway, she had already signed up and had all the money raised to go on a hunger education trip to Mexico. So she came to me because I was very involved in the committee, and I went to a meeting. Some of you who know me won't be surprised at this, and went to what was called a hunger task force of all the Lutheran churches in the Metro Kansas City, and I went on behalf of my congregation to get involved, and I actually talked about and my involvement as a high schooler in college in a walk called Church World Service CROP, which is Church Rural Overseas Program. And they made me the head of the team. So anyway, I worked with Pastor Sally a lot and got to know her really well. And like I said, she really became my mentor and a big part of why I felt the call to be a pastor. Then this is 28 years ago. No, like almost 30 now. Anyway, so she came to me and she said, well, I'm going to Africa. So I have this way paid. Would you like to go on this hunger education trip to Mexico? And I knew, this would be an education trip. It was not like going to, all-inclusive resort. That was not what this was. But my heart was so moved by it, and my involvement was, I just really loved doing this type of ministry. And I said, sure, I would love to go. Because I was kind of lost at 25. I had never really thought about life beyond 25. I didn't have any real certain goals to 25. I just was like, when you get, and I felt 25 was kind of a hard age for me, which now I think, wow, I thought 25 was hard, huh? But you don't know. You don't realize those things when you're younger. So anyway, so she asked me to go, and I said yes. And that trip changed my whole life. And there was a group of probably close to 20 of us that went. And we had like 3 male pastors on the trip. And we were from Nebraska, Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. Because at that time, that was the territory for our like region of the church. And so there was people came from all those 5 states. There may have been more like 25 or so of us go. But anyway, so it was what was it? It was like a 10-day trip. And so we met all kinds of people, had all kinds of experiences. But and there was a lot of those experiences that I still remember vividly and they changed my life. But one of the early ones of the trip that really, really touched me was we went to visit this family, and it was 3 generations, and they lived in a house that they had built. Christopher, I'm on, so you're going to have to knock. It has to be quiet, okay? Has to be quiet. But anyway, so the father, like the head, like there was the father, and then he had children, and then they had children, and they had a 2-story building, and he was very proud of the fact that they had built each level so that the family could have homes. Now, their home in America would, it would have looked like it was rough concrete. It wasn't any painting or anything on the outside, but it was a home, and they loved it. And they were kind people, but they got sodas for us, and they put out food for us, and they were so generous and hospitable to us. And it was amazing. Good evening, Martha. I don't know if I've been saying good evening, Sharon and Phyllis and everybody, and Paula and Cheryl and Bill and Kathy. I think I've said hi. And I'm sorry if I missed anybody. But anyway, I was just so moved because they did not have a lot of money. And here we are, like 20, 25, because we had a couple people who worked with the program. It was a program in Cuernavaca, Mexico. It was through Augsburg College out of Minnesota. They were our leaders and had set the schedule and took us around. So there was probably about 25 of us that went and met this family and heard their story and talked to them. And I really thought about how they must have really sacrificed, but they wanted to show hospitality to us. And they, they had gone and gotten sodas, and they had food. And I mean, these are people that probably, maybe we learned later, probably had meat if once a month, maybe once a month, but they just put out food for us, and they were kind and loving and caring. And I was so very moved by that. It was just an amazing experience, and it was one of the many experiences on that trip that really changed my life and my outlook. I mean, I was already kind of headed in that direction with the work I was doing in social ministry at the church I belonged to, but that really changed me, that trip, and really led me on the road that ultimately led me to seminary. So as I read this, I think about the generosity of those people and how, we sometimes discount what others do for us, but people often will give out of generosity even when they don't have it to share. And I've often experienced that from people who might be struggling, that many people like that have shared out of their meager earnings to be gracious and hospitable. So anyway, it was a very moving experience for me, and really is a reminder of this, of God, Jesus talking about the first shall be last and the last shall be first, and sharing with others, not just what's left over, but sharing our best energy, our best time, our best talents, our best possessions, sharing that with God, sharing that with our neighbor, giving of ourselves to others, that they might receive God's love through what we do for others in God's name. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Prayer request. Yes, we want to pray for my friend, Cheryl Mai's dear friend, Danita Kendi Harple, for her husband, Edwin, for their children, their grandchildren, for her mother and father, for her brother, Jeff. We just ask God to watch over Carol and Leon, her mom and dad, and my heart just goes out to them. This is the third of 4 children that they have lost, and they are still alive, and we just pray for them. We also pray for Bill and Renate and Ricky at the loss of Bill's wife and Ricky and Renate's mom, Karen, today, and for their children and their families, as I know they mourn the loss of her today. So we think of them as well and ask God to bless them. We also pray for those of you who weren't on earlier who have been a part of St. John. I was told today that Cheryl Browning, who had been a part of the church, died on August 31st, and so we remember her. Karen, thank you. Karen said, my cousin, she decided to share her blood next week in memory of my mom. Thank you. means a lot. My mom was a big blood giver, blood donor. And because of her, I started giving when I was 18, and I've given 8 gallons. It's been a while, but I need to start giving again if I can. And yes, I did it because my mom's example of giving of yourself in such a needing way. And there is such a need for blood that if you're able to give, I know usually if people can give, they sign up. And I haven't been connected for a while because of some of the things in my life that I wasn't able to give for a while. But thank you, Karen. That really, really, really means a lot that you are doing that. So also Andy Harnack called me, for those of the church, and said, hey, would you, and I'm going to put something out on the page, and then I'm going to make sure Lynn's on vacation this week, so the bulletin's already done, but we'll get it out next week, and I'll put it on Facebook. But Andy called me and said, hey, would you please let people know that June and I are here 24/7 now, and I would love for people to come visit, even if it's only for 5 minutes or up to an hour. I will put the information out. It's like Sunnyside retirement. Kathy Gates said it's out kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's right. The address is Barnesville, and he said that you don't have to call ahead. Right now, if you go visit, you can sit outside with them. And they have a gazebo there. They do have, they go to lunch at noon. I'm going to see Andy and June this weekend to take them communion. But Sunny Grove, I said the wrong, Sunny Grove Assisted Living in Barnesville, 665 Gordon Road. But anyway, Andy just really would like to see people. He misses everybody. He would love to have visitors. So he said, you don't have to call ahead. We're here all the time. So, and right now you can't go inside, but they can come outside to visit. And like I said, they have some area just set. So I'm going up on Thursday, later morning to visit them. And I think Joan Thomas too is also coming. So, but just know he would love to hear from you if you know him. Or can call or can visit. And I know some of you got things coming up, so it's not a good time. But if you get a chance, give him a call. He'd love to hear from you. And if he doesn't recognize your voice, just tell him who you are. Sometimes he has short-term memory things. So, but if you tell him how you know him and everything, if he doesn't remember right away, he'll probably remember. So, he really, really asked me to pass that on. So I wanted to be sure to do that. And of course, we're praying for Butch, who's in the hospital but seems to be doing better. He's just on oxygen from COVID. But we just want to lift him up in prayer today too. I should say, I don't know what's going to happen right now. We are set to have Wednesday night worship. But as I said early on, that I think some of you did not hear, they're building a Zaxby's restaurant next door to the church, and everything was marked for them to see where the lines were, but somehow they've run into, I don't know if they've cut it all the way, but we have no internet and no phone at church right now. So if you try to call, you won't be able to leave a message. You can call me if you need something or text me. And there's no running water. They also hit the water today. So the city was out there today. I don't know what's going to go on tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be fixed. So just stay tuned about Wednesday night worship. Right now, the plan is to have Wednesday night worship. If we can, we will do so. If we're not, I'll post it, but I don't have an answer yet what's going on with that. I was at church today, and but I was not working on the internet, so I didn't catch it right away. Tomorrow, I'm meeting with several members, lunch with a member, and then meeting with a member, and probably running something else to another member. So I'll be out to church later in the afternoon, but Lynn is off this week, and tomorrow is Lynn's birthday. Happy birthday, Lynn, our wonderful administrative assistant. And so, if you need me, call me or text me. And Thursday, I will also be out, but I will be going to see Andy and June in the morning, going to visit a couple other members, and I will run by church like I said, they're finishing up the roof, and then the whole front yard is torn up from all the stuff they're doing with Zaxby's. So anyway, just want to give you a heads up if you can't get a hold of anybody, it's because nobody will be there, or things are still offline. So just get a hold of me if you need something. Worship will be outdoors this Sunday. What is that? It'll be the 3rd of October, right? Yeah, 3rd of October. And we should have great weather. So we'll look forward to it. It'll be our first Sunday of our stewardship, conversation about what brings you joy in your serving, and giving of your time, your talents, your possessions. That's what our theme is this year. Sharing and joy. So that's what we're all about. So anyway, and worship will be online, and I will be on Thursday night with devotions from home. So I thank you for joining me tonight. As I always say, if you have prayer requests, please let me know, and Joy's as well as that. Hey, good evening, Sheila. Sheila, if you're still on here, I was just sharing Butch Armistead is in the hospital. He's hanging in there, doing really good. He's on oxygen for COVID, so he's at Upson. And no, please, Allie asked just for prayer. She said, please don't call. And of course, she can't go in. She can't even go in. But she said she's encouraged that he's on a better quality of oxygen and seems to be responding very well. So we're very, very thankful to hear that good news. So, all right, everybody. I hope you have a great evening. Thank you for joining me. Sunday worship, Wednesday night. Hopefully we're hanging on. No water in the building right now because of them cutting the line, or whatever they did. I can't tell you because I don't know that stuff. But hopefully we'll still be able to have worship there tomorrow. So, all right. Listen, have a great night. Those of you who watch it tomorrow, have a wonderful day. Everybody have a wonderful day tomorrow. Good rest tonight. I pray that God is right there with you in whatever you may be facing. So lift up your prayers and your joys and thanksgiving to God. And I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for you joining me. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look upon you with favor and give you peace in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night and great day tomorrow. And hopefully, I plan to be at Wednesday worship if we can get everything worked out with getting the water running in the building again. All right. Thanks. Good night. Take care.